Hello again, awesomers. It's your old buddy, Steve Simonson, and we're doing it again. It's a podcast episode on the awesomers.com podcast. This one, episode number 221, and part of the mini series about Steve's axioms. So this is about axiom number 6. And by the way, everybody needs axioms because when I repeat myself again and again, this is less likely to put me into the crazy house, the loony bin, as it were. And it has actually systematized me repeating myself into making it a benefit. It's a feature, not a bug. And today, axiom number 6 is simple, but I'm going to talk about why it is really one of the most important things in your business. The axiom, which I'll tell you the backstory here in a minute. The axiom is do what needs done when it needs doing. Now, what I want to tell you about this is my mentor, Terry Wheat, talked about a very cool story about how he learned this lesson. His dad taught it to him, and I just can't stress how cool it is. And basically, the condensed version of his story was when he was a kid, 6 or 7, he would follow along behind his dad, who was an electrician, and they would punch out the wall, and they would cut the wires, and there would be just a little, by that outlet on the wall, there'd be a little pile of droppings of the electrical wires and the clippings and maybe a little dust from the drywall and whatnot. And back in the day, Terry was supposed to go along with a broom and a dustpan, sweep that up right after his dad was done, put it in the dustbin, and kind of maintain that cleanliness all the way through. So his dad was teaching him to do what needs done when it needs doing. Well, Terry, being the bright-eyed and brilliant mind that he is, said, hey, there's got to be a better way. Why don't I just let dad knock himself out, and instead of me falling around for 6 hours, or whatever the time is, I will go ahead and just wait until the end and do it. Well, he does, right? So he's reading his comic books, or he's hanging out during the workday, and then his dad goes, "Okay, all done." And Terry goes in, and he, as a kid, he realizes that instead of those consolidated little piles of dust and debris from the electrical work, they're now a bunch of trades were walking through, other people walking through, the wind, the airflows in the house. They've pushed everything everywhere. So now it's not just sweeping up a little 6-inch by 6-inch area with a little dust broom. He's going to have to sweep the entire house. And that took him, 3, 4, 5 times as long as it would have if he would have just done it as he went. And so he learned tangibly, viscerally perhaps, that doing what needs done when it needs doing is a valuable life lesson. And this is something that I want to help entrepreneurs kind of put into their mind and into their business. So often people are procrastinating. Entrepreneurs are really, really capable procrastinators. Perhaps you've procrastinated listening to this episode, and now you're finally here. I'm glad you caught up. What I want you guys to think about is, it doesn't matter whether you're putting off starting a business. It doesn't matter whether you're putting off launching the new product or hiring the next person or deploying that next system. Whatever you're putting off is only going to cause you greater pain later. And this simple, kind of down home, country style axiom, do what needs done when it needs doing, I just can't stress it enough. Terry was right about it. Life is right about it, right? Don't put off things when they need to be done. Whether it's firing somebody, right? Nobody wants to be fired. Nobody wants to fire anybody. That's the irony. It's actually just as hard to be fired as it is to fire the person. So we often procrastinate it. Well, don't steal their life. Talk about it, prevent it, never let it be a surprise. But if it's time to fire somebody, let it happen and move on with it. Everybody will be glad you did. Maybe not in that moment, but the amount of relief and the amount of progress that all the parties can make, much better. If it's deploying a solution that you have needed, but just because it's going to take you extra time, find what you can eliminate from your schedule and move on. Get back to putting the solution in place. I'm really, I don't know, I lose patience with people who talk about all the problems, and then I go, well, you already know the solutions exist. Perhaps you even know the solutions for each of these. Why aren't you deploying them? Well, I'm just too busy. It's like, well, you're too busy because you're chasing your tail because you're not fixing the problems at the origin, right? You're treating symptoms, not the origin of the problem. And this is common in every single business. So if any of this resonates with you, if you've done this, first of all, you're not alone. And second of all, stop doing it, right? Do what needs done when it needs doing. It's simple. It's obvious, but it's not practiced as much as it should be. And by the way, I'm far from perfect. Well, I mean, it's a relative scale. I'm pretty close to perfect, but no, not really. I have to remember and practice this myself, and it helps to have axiom number 6, right? Do what needs done when it needs doing. It's catchy, it's fun, and it helps all of us internally have a vocabulary of, hey, are we putting off anything? Is there something we should be doing right now that we're putting off? Now, it also means don't do it before it's necessary, right? There are plenty of times where we make a to-do list that is so huge that we're just like, I got to do all of this immediately, right? And you just burn the candle at both ends. Well, not all that stuff needed doing immediately. So actually understanding the priority, actually understanding when to deploy things, having a strategic mind to say, well, I'm going to do it this quarter and the next quarter and next quarter, or this month, next month, whatever. That actually is how you run a business without driving yourself nuts. And I can tell you, this is one of those axioms that pays dividends. Learn it, use it, repeat it, and then send me all the love that you can. The positive reviews, the shares, the likes, the whatevers. I don't know what the internet has these days, but send me all that stuff, and I will take it, and I will find a way to spend it to buy me a Diet Coke. All right, this has been episode 221, everybody. Awesomers.com/221. You can see the show notes, details, etc. And this is Axiom 6. I bet you can guess what's coming soon. Keep your eyes out for Axiom 7, everybody. That's it for now. Bye-bye.